Hello, you Malty. Malaga memories. There you go. Someone's been on holiday to Spain, obviously, and it's probably Annie Wine 22. So thank you to Annie Wine for the malt mention, introducing Ralphie Review 1050 here in the Whisky Bothy. And this little rustic old stone building is where I review a rather complex variety of whiskies and other quality spirits. And I go into a little bit of depth, particularly round about the smell and the taste, to just give a bit more of an insight into what I'm reviewing in case you happen to stumble across it or something similar and you're thinking of buying it. So I have an empty glass here. It won't be for long. Let's pour in some Caol Ila from an independent bottler which has been on the go since around about 1998, and you'll probably see this brand across France, Holland, Germany, but it's not really so well known in the UK. There are many independent bottlers. This is something that we need to be aware of when we're treasure hunting for whisky. And most of these independent bottlers are very small. In fact, at the last count, I registered over 200. And just to keep you informed, in case you're wondering what my opinion is of independent bottlers, I have to say, many of them I've never even tried because they're so small and obscure. It's hard to get hold of them. But I am commencing a series on my Patreon channel shortly called Ralphie Reviews of Independent Bottlers, in which I can talk with some authority about those that I have bought bottles from and what I think of them, and how to go about, importantly, how to go about selecting whiskies to buy from independent bottlers, because they're far more prominent in Scotch whisky than in any other drinks category out there, including bourbon, rum, cognac, armagnac and tequila. The Scotch whisky industry, particularly the reputation of Scotch whisky, is greatly enhanced by the presence of independent bottlers who very rarely, if ever, advertise. So you've got to go finding them, but when you do, you will find treasure. Not always. You have to be careful, but there is treasure out there. I have a little treasure here, a delightful, crispy, zesty, elemental and minty Caol Ila. It's from Wilson and Morgan Barrel Selection. It's been bottled at what they describe as 100 UK proof, not to be confused with American proof, and specifically that means it is 57.1% alcohol. Now, importantly, and it took me a wee bit of detective work to find this, but on the back of the box, and it should be on the label, it does say that it's unchill filtered and natural colour. However, even now, independent bottlers simply don't make enough of a feature of this unique provenance, which is something that your mainstream bottlings that you'll find in travel retail in the supermarket, virtually all of them are not just chill filtered, they're heavily chill filtered to reduce the flavour, to reduce the texture and to reduce the experience to something that is more safe for passive consumers. So what have we got in the nose here? By the way, why did I buy this? How did I go about buying this? Right, I saw it on a major online retailer. I then went to Whisky Base to check the reviews there. I went to Whisky Fun to check any reviews there. And I'm not just looking about specific reviews of this bottle, I'm looking at reviews of the bottler. How consistent are they with their bottlings? Now, I have to say, Wilson and Morgan are generally what I'd call a higher standard. So they're more invested in looking after their cask portfolio of stock. So all credit to them for that. This is a sharp, almost jalapeno intense peated nose. It's got a real bite to it. Now, we know fine well that that's because it's 57.1%. So there's a lot of alcohol in this glass, carrying a lot of flavour. So of course I'll be adding water, because if you don't add water, you don't access the flavour. And I don't care if you tell me, oh Ralphie, no, you're wrong. All whiskey should be drunk neat and you let your own saliva bring it down. No, you don't. Because before the saliva has a chance to water down your whiskey, to actually give access to the flavours, your tongue is nipping from the anaesthetic sting of the alcohol, which is reducing its sensitivity to identify flavours. So get over it, malt mates. Get on with it and catch up with modern whiskey drinking. I'm just telling you. Why? Because you need to know. Taste. Neat. Oh, brace myself. For something of such high strength, it's remarkably flavoursome. Beautiful, rich, almost citrusy, syrupy notes with mint and sage, and there's licorice going on there, and aniseed. It's almost as if this particular Caol Ila is trying to morph itself into an absinthe, but it's staying on the peated side as it does so. What a fascinating first taste. I have to say, it's not like official bottlings. And this is something that's really important to comment on. When we go searching for the treasure amongst the independent bottlers, 5 millilitres, 10 millilitres, good start. I will be adding more shortly. When we do so, we discover different versions and identities of a signature of a whiskey, single malt whiskey, we're much more familiar with as an official bottling. Here's a good example. When you buy an official bottling of Caol Ila, you will get what's called the house style. Now, it's far more engineered and composed than you realise. And you don't have any point of identity to realise this until you search out the independent bottlings and start to explore the different facets, permutations and shape that Caol Ila can come in when it is either a single cask, unchill filtered natural coloured whiskey, or a small batch, and I'm talking 10, 12, maybe 20 casks at most. I'm mentioning Caol Ila in this context because it is without doubt the shining star of peated whiskies that appear from independent bottlers. You very rarely see Talisker, you rarely see Laphroaig, you rarely see Lagavulin. And to be honest, when you do, they can be a bit awkward. But Caol Ila is the unsung hero of peated whiskies in the Scotch single malt firmament, despite the fact that the owners just they treat it as you see in this bottling, as just a major generic brand, and frankly, they really don't do anything special with it, apart, and all credit to Diageo, from the occasional unpeated version bottling, which is quite interesting. So I'll put this away. We'll come back to the independent bottling because you're seeing diversity of experience from the independent bottlers. I would say stick to official bottlings for at least 2 years, maybe 3 years. Get your bearings with the original house style, because you need that as your baseline before you can really understand the variances and the eccentricities and the characters that you come across through the independent bottlers. By the way, some are not very good. So please check very carefully. If you're not familiar with them, go to a specialist spirit retailer where staff actually know what they're doing and show an interest, and ask them. Apart from that, ask at your whisky club. Join an online forum in Reddit, Facebook, or Discord. I have a Discord as part of my Patreon channel, very active, wonderful content of information, but also is sharing so important. Primarily, it's about sharing experience from one experienced whisky drinker to another. Because this is how we grow, and this is how, because we know what good whisky is, we help and support the distilleries and the bottlers that present good whisky to us. Cheers. I've added water now, just a little bit of Scotch mist starting to creep in there. Not a lot, because it's such a high strength, and it'll need a bit more water and a bit more time, but here goes in the nose. Eau de Cologne. I'm getting that slight lavender, rosemary fusion thing. Fascinating. Crystal clear signature off the nose. Beautifully clear. This has been matured in ex-bourbon casks, and good quality ones. You see, they're bringing in a hint of vanilla, but they're restrained. Now, for the age of the malt, and it is 12 years old, it was distillery. I'll give you the cask number, by the way, because I don't want to forget providing that, because I know some of you will be asking for it. It's cask number 313250-56. That's 313250 or 0-56. There could have been a bit more transparency with this, but the whisky industry is so ridiculously conservative and stuck in the past. It'll take a good crisis, which is on its way in, a good crisis that's going to wake the industry up, shake off the cobwebs in the offices, and decision makers will actually start making more informative, connective decisions for the benefit of their customers. Cheers. Here's to that. Sharp. Slightly balsamic. But it really presents the peatiness very well. You're getting that real blast of coastal bonfires and embers, and I'm getting distinct autumnal notes here, so slightly late season russet apples and pears. I'm getting a powerful mintiness and sage, so we're looking at green herbs here, savoury green herbs, sage, thyme, rosemary. That's going on. It's just what I would describe as a straightforward, honest, integrity presented, elemental peat monster which delivers its monstrosity wonderfully, elegantly well. Let's add a drop more water here. I want to chase out a wee bit more of that Scotch mist. Yeah, I know. Some of you don't approve. That's me added 4 spoons. That's 20 millilitres of water. Why do I bring down the strength so much? Doesn't it chase away the flavour? No, it takes a good hour for that to happen. And when the flavour's being chased away, it's chasing up my nose and onto my palate. Now we're really seeing the Scotch mist. Proper Scotch mist that you just don't get. The quality is, you just don't get it off the official bottlings. Because the official bottlings are reduced events. Not for the connoisseur, not for the invested, experienced whisky fan. We'll enjoy it, but we won't get the most of it because it's not been delivered. from the independent bottlers. They do deliver it, and this is why we like them so much. Now, I'm going to give this a really good mark. It is a sharp, slightly aggressive, but magnificently flavoursome Caol Ila. It's a Caol Ila that you can drink outdoors in a storm, and there won't be a drop wasted. It'll go straight up your nose. It's just wonderful stuff, and all credit to Wilson and Morgan. They're presenting their whisky honestly, and honestly it deserves a better mark. 85 out of 100. That's my malt mark. Pop back again shortly for Ralphie Review 1050 Extras, in which I'll be giving you an update from Sam on an ongoing police investigation, right? There's an open police investigation requiring our help and assistance into alleged whisky cask investment scams. I look forward to bringing you information on that, because you won't hear a zhoop from the whisky industry. They are being far too quiet about it, and it's not good for Scotch whisky's reputation. Just saying.